All right. We actually made it live. This is wonderful. I gotta wait
Love
for
it.
some folks to come on in before we get started with my favorite person ever, Mr. John Rawlins. How
Oh
you doing?
gosh. I'm great. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored, or as my VP for membership, LaDonna Parker, said, I am present and accounted for. All right, all right.
That is LaDonna. That sounds just like LaDonna.
Listen, okay. We know how to have a good time. And tonight is all about just having a good time, talking to you, getting some insight from the
Yes.
wonderful past president, President Emeritus, OG. I say HNIC. I can't say that, can I?
I mean, that's all of us.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, let's get started. And I just want to say
Yes.
welcome to everybody who is here with us tonight
Yes.
on our
Hey,
CBAA
y'all.
Live, the President's Corner. And it wouldn't be a President's Corner without starting off with our incredible past president. And we're going to talk to him a little bit. But also, just so folks know, my name is Shannon Cohall, and I have the honor of serving as the president of the Cornell Black Alumni Association, class of 2014 and 2025, and from Cal's. You know, we grow the ivy, as we like to say in Cal's. Rep from Brooklyn, New York, as always. And I have with me the incredible, the amazing, listen, my brother, my mentor, my friend, an elder,
Y'all see how this gonna go, huh? Y'all see how this gonna go tonight?
past president, President Emeritus John Rawlins, the third class of 2006. I am so happy to have you here, John, with us. What's going on? How you doing?
Yes.
How you feeling? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm good. You know what? The funny, I'm a little warm right now. I just realized. I mean, it's warm here. I'm like, usually my office. Sometimes it's real warm. Sometimes it's a full ice box.
Are you are
But
you trying to talk about the fact that you're in California? Because nobody cares about your warm weather right
no,
now. Okay.
no, no. Actually, we do. And the thing about it is, it's okay. Like I listen. I love the East Coast. I miss the East Coast. Clearly, I'm coming back to the East Coast for the weekend. We're gonna be talking about. But I can't lie. Y'all was in a tundra and snowstorms and all kind of stuff over there, and it was like 70 degrees over here. So no complaints. No complaints from me.
Listen. Well, you know what? I might have to join you over there on the East Coast, on the West Coast, I should say, very soon. But
Mm,
there's no other place we could do our SIBA 50th, but on the East Coast. But before we get
yeah.
started, John, I wanna talk to you a little bit. We have some things to discuss. The 50th
Okay. Yes.
ticket sales. What's happening? Where's that? Where can people get information? So, but before we get started, give me a little bit about I guess, your specific journey to CBA. Because what brought you to, you could be a Cornell alum, but what brought you to the Cornell Black Alumni Association?
So it's funny. I can literally, I know the story by heart because it's one
Mhm.
of those stories that sticks out to me. So the long and short of it is that when I graduated in '06, I gone home for a week, and then I was coming, or maybe 2 weeks, and I was coming back to Ithaca to work the pre-freshman summer program for the summer. Shout outs to
2006?
2010. Yeah, in 2006, right? So
That's a long time ago. That's 20 years ago. I
yes, it
I
is
just,
my 20.
it's
It
20
is
years
my
ago.
20. It is my 20-year reunion this year, and I'm actually proud of how many grades I have. But so listen, so I came back to campus to do training for our staff. This was my second official summer working with the program.
Hmm.
And they said, I never forget Melinda B. Smith, shout out to Melinda, said, come by Ooge tonight. And I said, come by Ooge for what? Everybody gone. Why am I going to Ooge? The campus is empty. She's like, just come by Ooge. And I walked through the door and Black alumni everywhere. And I was like, what is this? And she was like, it's CBAA reunion, right? And actually, at that point, it was the 30th anniversary of CBAA.
Wow.
So
That's a
yeah,
long time ago.
I know, right? And of course, I had heard of CBAA as a student, but really hadn't engaged with CBAA as an organization. I engaged with individuals, but I hadn't engaged with CBAA as an organization. So that was my first foray, like sitting down, talking to alumni. Then most people know I stayed in Ithaca for 8 years after after I graduated from Cornell, working at Ithaca
Hmm.
College. And so when reunion came around, it was in town, so it was real easy to participate. So actually, my first time, well, I wasn't officially on the committee, but, and I'm claiming this very proudly because this is known across CBAA and at Cornell.
Hmm.
2012, the reunion committee was planning, and they're planning the Friday night dinner, and they were gonna have
Hmm.
this. I think it was salsa band or something at the dinner. Well,
Okay.
right, that was gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. But I had just heard a few months before for the first time the brown skin band. And so I reached out and I said, hey, heard this band in Ithaca. I think CBAA would like this. I remember Dr. Shemaine LeBerg came running up to me
Hmm.
at that dinner and gave me the biggest hug because, of course, everyone was loving the brown skin band. And in fact, CBAA had them first, and they actually still acknowledge that. So even when they come to campus to do the tents, because now they've been doing Cornell reunion for years at this point.
That's true.
But every
That's true.
time they get booked by Cornell to come to reunion, they will message me. The band leader will text me or call me, and he'll thank me for the recommendation that year, and then acknowledge that like CBAA was the first group that had brown skin. And so that's a part. That was like the first time I got involved, and I was on the planning committee for 2015, and then by 2018 I was elected president. like I, and that even serving as VP before that. But CBAA has just been like in my heart and really a part of my Cornell alumni life, basically ever since graduation.
Yeah,
Mm,
it has. It
mm,
has. And you led us during a very pivotal time, and we're
oof.
gonna talk about that because I want to go back and we're gonna get a little deep later on. But for now, I
Yes.
do want to say, first of all, thank you for your leadership in the Cornell Black Alumni Association.
Mm,
You are truly an incredible leader and
thank you.
someone that led us during a crazy time of the pandemic.
Listen, no, I appreciate
Um,
it. And honestly, thank you for your leadership now. And of course, I'll of course at some point I'll just say more, but most people hopefully who've been involved with SIBA know that even 2018 was when I was elected president. You were elected secretary, and then in 2021, in the midst of a pandemic over Zoom, you were elected to the VP of membership role, and then decided to stay on and now serve as our 17th president. So big ups to you and all that you have done to continue the legacy and to keep things going really, really strong. Really strong.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it as well, as my printer is going off right now. um I appreciate it, and I couldn't have done it with a better person. So I do want to talk a little bit about something that is really, really exciting, and pardon me one second.
Mm-hmm.
um that is the 50th anniversary of the Cornell
Yes.
Black Alumni Association.
Ooh,
50
y'all.
years.
50 years.
1976, a group of five wonderful, dope, swaggy alum got together and said, we got to do something. We want to hang out with each other. We graduated, but we want to continue the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And those five people, Sandra Black, Carlton Holmes, Conway
Mm-hmm.
Boyce, Dr. Renee Alexander, Irene Smalls, came together
Yes.
in 1976 and formed the Cornell Black Alumni Association, right? And
Yes.
here we are, literally 50 years later, standing on their shoulders. And so we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't let this monumental occasion of the 50th pass without honoring the past,
Yes.
celebrating the present, and of course,
Mm-hmm.
securing the future. So
That's
when
right.
we talked about this on the previous board, and
Mm-hmm.
John, you were like, "All right, Shannon, it's looking like it's going to be during your time. We got to do this." And I was very nervous, but one thing that I appreciate about you, John, is I said, "All right, I'm going to do it, but I'm not doing it without you." And so we got a little bit of a break, but then you are back now
I
as our
did.
anniversary here. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about the 50th. Where is it happening? What date, the time? Where do folks need to be? Like, what's the deal? What is the deal?
Well, first of all, thank you for my 12-month, maybe a little less, but 12-month sabbatical. But no lie, it felt weird after that was what 8 years of Wednesday night calls every other week, and sometimes very regularly, and just engaging a lot. It felt good to have a break, but then to come back and be back in the swing of things, it feels really good too. So the 50th, y'all. So it's gonna be happening April 24th through the 26th in my hometown of Washington, D.C. Okay, shout out to my hometown, D.C. Love it, miss it. Um, and we are going to be just engaging in so much, y'all. It's going to be really, really exciting. And I'm honored to be, serving in this role, but also just honored to be working with a number of incredible alums who have put time and energy and effort into making this happen. And we're going to be talking about the full celebration, right? Because you only turn 50 once, right? You only turn 50 once, and we want to make sure that we celebrate CBA in a monumental way. So this is honestly that April 24th through the 26th is the kickoff. That's how we say it. It's the kickoff for our year and change of celebration, right? Celebrating 50 years and kicking off the next 50 years of CBA.
Okay.
And so my student staff is like, all right, we out of here. So we're going to be at the Westin in downtown DC, everybody. We're going to be at the Westin that weekend, and we've got a number of great things planned. But really central to that, of course, is our gala. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a few moments. But I know we've already sold like a good number of tickets, and I'm excited about that because that means people are ready. They're ready to celebrate CBA. They understand the importance of this moment, not just this milestone for us as the Cornell Black Alumni Association, but for me, thinking about how it's happening in the midst of everything else that we're experiencing in life right now, in our world, specifically in our country. And so we're excited to be coming together. And again, like I said, it's a kickoff of really a year plus celebration that's going to go down. So again, April 24th through the 26th, Washington, D.C. at the Westin D.C. downtown. You need to be there. Now, before you continue, Shannon, I just want to make sure people see on the bottom of the screen, CBAA50.org, right? You see the website. That is where you can get all information. You can see all of what's going to be taking place. You can even, as many people have already done, over 50 of you have, or excuse me, not over 50 of you, but we have over 50 rooms already sold out at the West End, right? So we're excited about that. There's still rooms available, right? So go ahead and get your room blocked, right? Get your transportation. I'm getting my flight so I can get over from sunny San Diego to what I hope will be sunny DC that weekend, and to be able to have an incredible time with my community, with my family, right? So looking forward to it, and looking forward to us, of course, talking about the details of the weekend and all that's going to be taking place.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we are going to be in Washington, D.C. at the Westin, April 24th to the 26th. I like it. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yes.
And just make sure folks have it here if you want to. There's like a little QR code that should come up in a second, and that will allow you to go into CBA50.org and get the information about the 50th. So John, what does CBA at 50 mean to you at this moment? What does it mean to you?
Well,
Because
there's
you
a number
got
of things.
you
I'm
close.
not.
I'm never gonna listen. It doesn't matter how old I get, you'll always be older than me. So that always,
And that is fine. I'm gonna tell you, like I tell my students, you better hope you look like this at
come on
41
now,
now.
right on crack. Come
Okay, you better hope you look like this at 41. All right. Okay, so listen. So in all honesty, there are a couple of things we need to recognize and realize. For one, and I think this was probably even more highlighted for me when I moved out here on the West Coast, right? So I've been working in higher education the last 20 years, and back on the East Coast, right? Back at Cornell, you think about we had COSEP that transitioned into OMEA, which transitioned and split off and had WADI, and now we have the Office of Black Empowerment, right? So there's so much history that Cornell has and other institutions on the East Coast. There's some of that legacy like up in Northern California, but when I got here, the first center I ran at California State University, San Marcos, was only the Black Student Center was 2 years old.
Wow.
The center that I run now at the University of California, San Diego, we will be we'll be 13 in May, right? A lot of these institutions, in terms of higher education for Black folks, that I found, especially out here, are a lot younger. CBA is one of the oldest Black alumni associations in the country, right?
Yeah.
I think only possibly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm right, only second to Harvard.
Well,
right?
actually, no. Bada has been around, which is Dartmouth's Black
Bada
alumni.
has been okay. So Bada, yes.
Shout out to Dartmouth.
I know. Shout out to Dartmouth. That's where my sister went. That's where she went. Right. So there's only a handful of associations. Even the association out here for Black alumni, it's young, right? It's only been around a few years. CBA has had a 50-year legacy, and that is something to be really, really proud of. And so I hope that people realize that, like, we actually are historic, right? And because we've been around for so long, we tend to set the standard and set the trends that others have followed and others have modeled their Black alumni associations after. When I was president, I can't tell you the number of times I was, contacted by individuals who were either running their Black alumni associations or who were looking to start their Black alumni associations, and they saw the things that CBA had done, not just in my time, but throughout the history of CBA, and saw CBA as a blueprint. That right there is enough for us to celebrate.
Yeah, you're right. We are the blueprint. And I think that's a testament to not just CBA, but honestly, Cornell. I think that, Cornell as an institution, and we got many thoughts on the university. And I believe that, who is it that said, I think I love America enough to critique it. And that's how I feel about Cornell and the university. I love Cornell enough to critique it. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But one thing I think that they have gotten right, and this is a testament to the founders, Ezra Cornell and A.D. White, were adamant about diversity from the jump.
Yeah.
Because you have Cornell opening in 1865, and the first Black student to matriculate at the university was 1869. So yeah, and he was a Haitian immigrant. So sac passe, shout out to my Haitian folk all across. He came to Ithaca and went to school there. So our history is long and old, and we've been here for a minute. And so Cornell itself has always had a place for Black students and our history. Whether you're talking about the founding of your fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, founded right here at Cornell. Or I think back to some folks like Jesse Fawcett, class of 1905, one of the stalwarts of the Harlem Renaissance and the literary editor of the NAACP Crisis magazine, another Cornell alum. Incredible folks who paved the way, not just for Cornell or Black Cornell, but for the Black community, for our culture across the country and across the world. And so, that's important. And that's a Cornell thing. But also the thing I'll say about Cornell is, I can't really tie down what is a Cornellian, or what is a Black Cornellian. I think other schools have thoughts on, you can say, oh, this is what this person is like, or this school is like. I don't know. I think the beauty and complexity of Cornell to a larger extent and the Black Cornell community is that there's a plethora of types of Cornellians. We have our doctors and the medical folk. You have folks who are lawyers, teachers, those in HR, those in higher ed, we have a whole slew of folks who are in architecture, art and planning, design. Speaking of design, if you were watching the Super Bowl last night, that wedding dress, like you said, designed by
yes.
So that is Cornell and that is CBAA. And so I think to your point about this organization, CBAA and Cornell to a larger extent there's so many types of folks. And that's what I love. And I think that someone asked me one time, what is the value proposition of CBAA? And I think it's that we are a multi-generational, multi-industry organization that you can get anything here. I could find a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, a nonprofit leader, an activist, a business person, everybody. We can get it all here. And that's what this organization is all about. And I love it.
It's true. And that's something that honestly, again, is something to be celebrated. But even if you think specifically, the fact that we are, and I really do find it an honor, not because I was president, but the fact that I am a Black Cornellian, I find it an honor to be a part of the legacy. Right? I found it an honor in 2002 when I got to Cornell, in 2006 when I graduated, and even 20 years later, and now that would be 24 years after being connected into the Cornell, family. Like, to be a part of this community and this legacy is an honor. And that's something, again, that we all should be able to celebrate and to have, our community, members of our Cornell community, to come and celebrate with us as well.
Absolutely. So John, what, I guess, for the 50th now, if I am an alum and I'm trying to figure out what's my plan, what's a good plan of action if I'm coming to the 50th? What should I expect? I know you gave us the schedule and everything, but who's going to be in the room? Like, how should I dress? What should I bring with me? Like, what am I packing? What am I bringing with me?
I got you. So let me give you the schedule a little bit, right? Because I know we just talked about the dates and when it's happening, but let me give you all the schedule just so you're aware. Well, first of all, let me just say this: it is not reunion, okay? And
Say it again, please.
Yes, because I need people to understand. Okay, here's a quick CBAA lesson. Ready? Here we go. Reunion for the Cornell Black Alumni Association happens every 3 years. Every 1, 2, 3 years. Okay. The last reunion for CBAA was in 2024. Okay. 24, right? Plus 3. 24, 5, 6, 7. 2027 is the next CBA reunion.
Okay.
Not this summer, people. Not this summer. So if you come to Ithaca, I might be there because it's my 20th, but it's not CBA reunion. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have a presence there, but it's not CBA reunion. So that's the first thing I want you to know. Because if you plan to go to Ithaca in June for CBA reunion, you're gonna be almost by yourself. Okay. Or at least you're not gonna expect what you're getting because
No,
it's not gonna be
don't
CBA
say
reunion.
that. Tell the people to go to their reunion too.
I'm saying what I'm saying is go to your reunion as well, but just don't expect that you're gonna see all of us there and think it's gonna be like the thing.
Good.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So
that's what
so again. So point number one, it's not reunion, right? So we're also with that intention. Typically, and shout outs to all the reunion co-chairs of the past. Shout outs to all. Come on, Vanessa, what's happening? It's one of my classmates. You know, shout out to all the chairs of the past and all the folks who have ever helped to lift up reunion, because I've been on the committee and as president helped to oversee it, and it's a big lift, right? One of the things about reunion is usually it's a really, really packed schedule. We intentionally made sure that this schedule wasn't too packed because one, we want you all to have the opportunities to connect, to see each other, to engage, to have those conversations and not feel like there's something planned for every minute on the minute, right? So
here's
the schedule you should be thinking about, okay? Friday night. Yes, Friday night. Be there by Friday night. Somebody scan the QR code. Love it. Friday night, the 24th at 6 p.m., we're going to have our president's welcome reception, okay? And that is not just our president. I'm pointing up to Shannon, right? Not just our current president, but all 17 of us are hosting this welcome reception to welcome you all. So shout out to all the other previous presidents, past presidents, for all the work that all of them have done to get us to this place, okay? So we'll be hosting that. I'll wait to share where that's going to happen. I'll wait. That could be another announcement, you know, in the email or on the post. So that's happening Friday night. Also on Friday night, you'll see more about this in the coming weeks, but the committee has actually crafted time and opportunity for groups, organizations, classes, individuals to host your own little mini event on Friday after the president's welcome reception. Okay, so we'll be having information about that. Now, look, we're not going to be collecting any money. We're not going to be collecting any registration. We're going to be counting on you all to actually plan out what it is that you want to do. You're going to send the information. We're going to post it, and then we're going to let people know that it's happening. But you need to have a point person. You decide where you want to go in DC. We have folks that can give you recommendations and suggestions should you maybe not be a DC native or someone who knows the area that well. And you all can plan those kind of evening events. Some of the groups may want to host a suite at the hotel. You may want to go to another bar. You may want to go to a production. Whatever you want to do, listen, it's your world, squirrel. Go for it, okay? So that's on Friday night. Saturday morning, two things are happening on Saturday morning. The first thing I can't tell you about because we are currently engaging with a incoming sponsor and they're going to be hosting something. So I got to wait to tell you all about that, okay? And yes, sponsorships are so important. We're excited about that. However, on Saturday morning, we are also going to be hosting a session where we get to share our CBAA and Cornell stories, right? So we're going to be in the room and have an opportunity not to hear from just a handful of people, but we're going to be in small groups. One of the things you talked about earlier, Shannon, we are a multi-generational organization, and that is so important. And I think with that, it's important for us to hear each other's stories. So you're going to get an opportunity to kind of network, but it's more than just a networking session. I don't want you to even think about it as your traditional session, but you're going to see how we get the opportunity to hear one another and to share our Cornell stories, okay? So that's going to be Saturday morning. Then you have a break. You can go explore DC a little bit if you want to. You can, again, meet up with some family and friends. For those who have commitments Friday night that won't allow you to get into DC until early Saturday or Saturday afternoon, you have a little bit of a break. Okay. However, Saturday night, that's the big one. Saturday night.
I gotta get cute for Saturday night. Okay.
That's the only reason why we created some time, because some of y'all gonna have MUAs and stylists, and barbers in the hotel.
Hello.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm trying to
It's
walk the red
perfectly
carpet,
fine.
okay? I'm trying to walk the big red carpet.
The big
okay?
red carpet. Right. So you can have the opportunity. You can have the
People are gonna be
opportunity
so mad at
to
us. We're just adding stuff to this.
a big red carpet was gonna happen anyway. Don't worry about it.
That's
It's gonna
true.
happen.
That's
It's
true.
gonna happen. So
I'm
yes,
sorry,
so
John.
that evening.
Pause really quickly. I'm sorry because I'm watching who's in the chat, and I do have to shout out because I see Carlton Holmes in the chat on Instagram, one of our founders. So shout out to founder Carlton Holmes here.
Yes.
Thank you for creating and being a part of the creation of this organization. And I was talking earlier to Renee Alexander a couple days ago.
Mhm.
So listen. Okay, I just
Listen, actually, Carlton, your name was in a conversation I was in with some real powerful people recently. I need to hit you up about that. It was great. Some of your friends too, actually, I've gotten to know really well. So really, of course, when they said, "Do you know Carlton Holmes?" I was like, "Yes, of course. I'm a Black Cornellian. Yeah, I know Carlton Holmes." So okay, so Saturday night is our fundraising gala. Now, there's going to be a point in this where I want Shannon, as our current president, to really share her vision and her heart around the fundraising aspect of this gala, because I want you all to understand. Again, one, this is not reunion, okay, and two, this is a fundraising gala, and this fundraiser. Listen, as a past president, as someone who has done this work, and as someone who has continually watched and seen Shannon lead this organization these last 2 years, seeing this fundraiser come to fruition, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save my words on that, because you're gonna talk about it, and then I'm gonna do one of those like little social media things. Now y'all better listen. Let me tell you what she said, right? Because I want to make sure people understand like the gravity of what you are trying to accomplish, that we need to be all buying into, right? So again, that night is our 50th anniversary fundraising gala. Okay, so this is where bring out the gowns, bring out the tuxedos, put on leave. You can wear the Stacey Adams guys if you need to, but I was gonna say this is where I'm just saying this is where the red bottoms make appearances. Like this is where.
Come on now.
Are we not the Cornell Black Alumni Association? I'm just trying to tell you.
I'm still paying back student loans though, so
that hasn't stopped some
that's true.
people from the
That is
red
true.
bottoms.
Well,
I've seen red bottoms on the slope.
I'm stepping out. Okay, we coming correct. It is a black tie affair.
It is. So bring your best, not your Sunday best, but bring your black tie best. Okay. That night we're gonna be celebrating the legacy and the history of our organization. There's a lot of stuff that's being planned. We were gonna have. I don't want to give too much away, so we're gonna have music. I'll say music. I'm gonna keep it real open, right? There's gonna be a reception before the gala. There's gonna be special things happening during the gala. I'm the type of event planner. I can't give it all away. You just know you need to be there. And again, think about it this way. We only turn 50 once. So we're going all out. Okay?
That's what I'm saying. That's what
I need you all to remember. We only turn 50 once, so we're going all out. Okay. And so that's gonna happen on Saturday night. That's really the crux of Saturday night. Again, for some, I'm since you want to call me an elder of yours, Shannon, for those of you who are young with all the spunk and energy in the world, once that function is over, sure, go out on the town. I'll be in my
You're not coming out with us?
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely.
Come on, John. We're gonna be in DC. I'm trying to do a little like what y'all go. Is that y'all stuff in DC?
Yes. And as a native, this native will be sleep. And so then
not Sunday, Michael been asking if Jordan 11s are okay. No, we not. No sneakers, sir.
Okay, so this is not. Yes. So for everybody who missed it, the sneaker gala was in 24.
Thank you.
But Finn, wear your sneakers Friday.
There you go.
And early on Saturday. And then Sunday, which is our community day. So it's going to be an opportunity for folks to explore, to have those last brunches and things as we end this weekend. Again, that is the kickoff to the 50th anniversary celebration. Because the 50th anniversary celebration is not just 3 days, y'all. It is literally, 17 months. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. It's a 17-month celebration. Because why? You only turn 50 once, and it is really that important for our association.
Absolutely. And I'll just say too, John, when we transitioned boards in 2024, I felt a little bit of a heaviness, right? Because it's not just it is a celebration, but it is a commemoration of our history. And it's not something that we take lightly. In the current environment where it feels like our experiences as Black folk are being ignored, it feels like, the history is being rewritten. We're making sure that we remember. Our Black folk have a history of remembering and telling our own story. And that's the whole point of this weekend. So as a part of the telling of the story, another aspect that I really want to highlight is the history side of this endeavor. There are 3 pillars to the 50th anniversary: honoring the past, celebrating the present, and securing the future. That honoring the past has to do a lot with us remembering and telling our story. And I see Deborah Stern on the Facebook
I was just about to shout Deborah out.
Yes. Who is the president of university, or the chair of University Council for Cornell. And she is also chairing our history project. So if you didn't know, CBA is working on a history project to collect the stories, the artifacts, the information of Black Cornellians. There are thousands of us across the world, honestly. Our history goes back, but a part of it is, like I said, telling the story. And we can't always trust others to tell our story. We're going to do it ourselves. So we're doing this independently. We're doing it, working with the libraries at Cornell and some other folks to make sure this happens. But we want to really make sure that we not only tell the story for us currently, but we're getting this information to share it for the future. The reason why I came to Cornell and why I chose Cornell over other schools was because I learned about the Willard Straight Hall takeover. And I was like, oh, if I'm not going to go to an HBCU, I'm going to go to a school where I know that there's a history of Black excellence and activism, and there is a strong Black community. And it was because of that history and because I knew of that history that I chose it. So it's important for us to tell this story going forward. I see Daryl Butler.
That's what I'm laughing at.
Let me tell you, the 80s alums. Listen, I'm coming for y'all. I'm gonna see y'all at the Gala. I just want to know which decade is gonna show out completely. But in terms of the history project, what we are asking for our alum is we want you to start collecting and finding those things that remind you of your time period at Cornell. Start calling up on your classmates, on your friends, getting those stories. We want to know about the story of Ethos. We want to know, and who was on Ethos, the past BSU presidents, fraternities and sororities. We want to know about the protests. We want to know about the fun. We want to know about it all. We want to know about, you got the Willard Straight Hall takeover, but you got the Day Hall takeover. You got, when I came to Cornell, Black folk was chilling in Trillium. Like, that's a story of my time at Cornell. So we want to share those stories. So start remembering, start pulling out the artifacts, get your stuff together, and Miss Deborah Stern will give you some more information as we continue this history project. Also, during the 50th, what are folks going to be able to do if they're in town?
So if you're in town, you're going to have the opportunity to share your stories with us, right? We're going to have some spaces in the hotel during the weekend, and they'll be open for the most part all weekend long, but it's going to give you an opportunity to share. Now, there will be parameters in terms of, you won't have 30 minutes to share your story. You'll have maybe more like 30 to 60 seconds to tell particular stories, right? Because we are going to have some themes to it. But again, you got to keep thinking about it this way, y'all. This is the kickoff weekend to a 17-month celebration.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what that means is we're starting here. We're not starting and ending here. Right. And I'm gonna say it now, Shannon, even though I feel like if I say it, people's gonna mix it up, but I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna trust that all these beautiful people who are in the chat and the people who are watching this video, when you're watching it, you'll understand what I say this, okay? April 24th through the 26th is the kickoff in 2026. Our 50th anniversary celebration will end officially June of 2027 at Reunion, CBAA Reunion in Ithaca. Okay? Everybody heard that? Y'all are Cornellians. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. We're starting in April. Okay? We're starting the celebration April 24th through the 26th, 2026. We will celebrate all year long. What does that mean? We will have regional events happening throughout the country for folks to celebrate, right? We're going to have, of course, homecoming in the fall, another opportunity to celebrate. We're going to have Martha's Vineyard in the summer, another opportunity for folks to celebrate. And we're going to have celebrate the holiday parties this coming December. Next year, we'll do another sweep of regional events. And our 50th anniversary celebration will end June of 2027 in Ithaca, which also happens to be what, Shannon? What anniversary is this in 2027 in June?
2027 is the 50th anniversary of the first CBAA reunion, which was called Update. So to the founders who are on the call, listen, we know the history, okay? We paid attention, okay? So yes.
And see, Vanessa, listen, she was saying, I was trying to decide if I should do a reunion this year. Vanessa, I was thinking the same thing, because these flights from California to Ithaca are not cheap. I'm most likely, and I'm a class officer too, it's so sad to say this, but I am right now, I am definitely coming, of course, in April. I'm prioritizing April. And then I'm definitely gonna go to reunion in 2027. If a lottery ticket or something else falls out of the sky, I'll fly to Ithaca in 2026 in June for my 20th. But that, like, one of the things about CBAA and our times when we get together, multi-generational. So it's not just our class, not just our classmates that we were, shooting in the gym with, but we get to see the generations of community that we have, the family that we're a part of. And so that for me is a big piece of it. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Y'all got some decisions to make. I mean, I've just succumbed that I'm just gonna be at everything. I'm a little mixy,
I know. We know.
So listen, another Cornell like Black History fact. What was my nickname was the Mixed Goddess at Cornell University. Okay, because I just like to be involved.
I met Shannon when she was a first-year student at Cornell. I still remember meeting you, and they were like, "She's our freshman representative for BSU." I remember that.
Good time.
And look at you, all these years later. Look at what you're doing.
Actually, John, that brings up a good point when it comes to volunteering and staying involved at Cornell. And before I get into that really quickly, I do want to shout out some people I see in the chat. I see some 70s folks. I see Linda Burke in the room. I see Carlton Holmes. We got some 80s folks. I see President and Trustee Emeritus Linda Gatsby. I see Dr. Anika, another former president from the 90s. So keep the class years coming. Yes. Daryl Butler said, Shannon, see you outside. That's
see you outside. Okay, it's true. It's so true.
But we got some good folks in the room, John. I'm seeing some people.
We do.
Here.
And funny enough, to your point, I'm glad you shouted those folks out. A lot of those folks that you just named. I talk to Daryl on a regular basis, right? I talk to Deborah on a regular basis. Valicia Graves, who is a university trustee, is on the planning committee for the 50th, right? Linda Gatsby, a former trustee, a former president, also on the committee, right? And so when you talk about this idea of giving back, I think it's important to recognize that, one, we ought to give back to an institution that at the very least, beyond just a degree, gave us community, right? And I know that people, and let me be real, I know that as Black folks, we often have to sometimes work through the duality of, right, being a part of an institution and, like you said, loving it enough to critique it. Yeah. Right. And understanding that the institution is not perfect, right? And the institution is not going to be perfect. And I know some folks who, if I'll just say in all honesty, they did not enjoy necessarily their experience. But one of the things that I often try to bring us back to is the fact that we're in community is a part of the experience. Even if you graduated years after me or years before me, what brought us together, what unites us in community and as family is this experience. And so even for some of the craziness we dealt with, some of the things we struggled through at Cornell, for me, my testimony has always been, I'm grateful that it got me this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It got me CBA. Yeah. It got me family. I just had a call. Me and my homeboys, who most of them graduated in 07 and a few in 08, we talk once a month. Right. We came together. That's my unit. Right.
That's the family.
All these years later. So I love the fact that, again, it wasn't always the most positive experience. Everything was not always 100% all the time, but it gave me this. And if I have to go through this again to get this, cool. Because this is life-changing.
Yeah. No, it's family. And it is a unique family. It's hard to explain to folks that haven't gone through it. I think going to Cornell is a unique experience because we kind of up in the boondocks in Ithaca. It's cold for like a good 10 months, snowing and stuff. And then classes are hard, it's emotionally like draining. It's a lot to deal with. But if you make it out of Ithaca, you kind of well built. And so like I always hear that Cornellians are great workers, are great leaders, are great activists. And so that's that shared experience. And I think another value of CBAA specifically is that because we are a multi-generational organization, it allows us to stay. If you're an older alum, you get to have friends who are younger. If you're younger, older folks are your friends as well. Middle of the road people. It's just nice to hang out with people across generations. That's something like I remember a couple years ago, the incredible Dr. Renee Alexander was having her birthday party. And, so I was telling someone I'm going to a birthday party and they were like, oh, like to the club. I was like, no, it's at the Cornell club, not at the club, at the Cornell club. And it's for my friend. And Renee is class of 74. I'm class of 2014. Yet I consider her my godmother, my friend, my mentor. But that connection was solidified in CBAA. You and I, we didn't go to Cornell at the same time, but we are this close because of CBAA, and that's really the benefit is that I've been to almost every one of our city chapters for the holiday parties, and folks are just meeting other Cornellians across the country. And that's the beauty of it. So when you come in April to DC, when all roads lead to the nation's capital, this is the time for us to celebrate, to connect, to network. If you're a young alum, you absolutely want to be there because a big benefit of the network is we got some heavy hitters in the alumni network, right?
Yes.
And you can have a first class ticket to meeting up on some amazing folk and everybody else as well. So I think that's really the big plus of this organization. And I'm grateful to be a part of it. But to your point, John, I want to go back a little bit about volunteering because folks often ask, how do you get involved in CBAA or what can you do and just involved in general in alumni life? Because Cornell does a really good job of alumni volunteers, right? And so if someone is interested in getting involved in CBAA or, alumni life in general, what are some ways that you would recommend folks jump in?
So for me, one of the first things I did, again, in addition to like seeing CBAA and, for me, my first kind of like work with CBAA outside just like attending events and meetings was just saying, hey, I have this recommendation for a band for the dinner on Friday night for reunion. Again, it was a brown skin band. I'm always going to claim that. But, for me, it was also thinking about, okay, so what are the other ways I connect? So I'm on class council. I've been an officer in my class for a long time now. And so that's another way that folks get involved, right? And I want to shout out Kamila, who's our current chair of Keiko. She is a former CBA e-board member, our former vice president for programming, 2 terms. Love Kamila. Thank you so much for all you do, right? Going to alumni affairs and reaching out and finding out what are the regional groups in your area, what are the events that they're putting on. I know for a fact. Now here's the other thing, and I think I'm pretty sure I've seen Tony's name in the chat already.
Yes, he's here. He's on Facebook and on Instagram.
Listen, Tony Chen, if you want to know how to get connected with Cornell and Cornelius, you talk to Tony Chen. Okay, Tony, I consider you probably now one of the most famous Cornellians ever, because we all know you and we all love and appreciate all that you do to connect us. Like, seriously. See, there you go, Tony in the chat. And so that's important, right? But honestly, we have to make sure that it's like reaching out and saying it's not just I want to do something, but like think about what it is that you want to do. And sometimes the thing that you ask about may open the door to another opportunity, right? So again, I've been on class council, I was on CBA, and that's kind of what opened the door, and I was nominated for and became part of university council, right? So those kind of things, those kind of opportunities, they come, and there's some long-term opportunities, there's some short-term opportunities, there's something for everybody. Whatever it is, though, I say figure out how you can give back and what are the ways in which you do that. Now, speaking of give back, Shannon,
yes,
I need you to talk about the legacy fund, because I really want folks to I want folks to understand, right? Again, and let me just say this as anniversary chair, right? So CBA has in the past done galas and dinners and events, and typically they are around a certain price point. I'm gonna just be real. This one, you go on the website, you'll see it is a high ticket item, right? But there's a reason for that, right? Again, you only turn 50 once. But this kickoff is a part of an initiative that, Shannon, you as president have developed and worked with the board, and you've gone to many of us former presidents, to other alums, to get insight about this legacy fund. Please, please, please talk to the folks about the legacy fund and what this legacy fund is going to mean for CBA in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, my parents taught me to leave anything better than you found it. And I found CBA incredibly well. I've been a part of this organization for a long time, officially since 2018, when I joined as reunion chair. And then, John, I was a part of your executive board for the last 2 terms. And CBA is unique in that it is an independent organization, founded and by on the principle of FUBU, I would say, for us by us. And that is important, being an independent org, because it allows us to say what we need to say, to do what we need to do unapologetically, right? This is for our community. And so that is super, super important for us to maintain that independence. But what that means also is that, we're also relying heavily on alumni volunteers. Our board, all of everybody that participates in CBA, we are all volunteers, meaning nobody's getting paid. Nobody, we're giving up a lot of time. Everybody, especially my board, is a younger board. So, folks are early on in their careers. And so folks are giving up their time, expertise, because we believe in this organization. But that means we got to make sure that we fund the movement or fund the vision. So at the beginning of our term, we decided, our executive board met, and I presented my strategic plan for the org, and it was to create a legacy fund, the CBA Legacy Fund. And it's called the Legacy Fund because this will outlive all of us. My job is not to just think about CBA right now. It's to think about CBA for the next 100 years, to make sure that there's an organization here for Black alumni and all alumni for the next 50 to 100 years. But that means we have to lay a solid foundation. And a part of that is really building up the infrastructure. So this legacy fund has 4 key pillars, right? Empowering students, first and foremost. CBA was founded on the principle of an alumni network that supports the student body. So empowering students. So this will ensure that we have our independent scholarships for Black students at Cornell. Making sure that we support Black graduation on campus. That's something that's been a hot topic, but we want to make sure it continues. So we support our students, making sure the students have the wherewithal to go to professional conferences and develop their professional skills, and supporting Black student organizations. So that's empowering students. The next tenet is engaging alumni. Listen, like I said, we have thousands of alumni in every industry. I want to build a Black business and professional services hub where Cornellians can go and put in whatever services, businesses they have, and we can support each other. So we need to just build up that infrastructure. And then also career prep. The benefit of an alumni association is saying, hey, I'm in a career change or a transition right now. I want to reach out to somebody in the network who can assist me. And I have done so much of those connecting people and stuff, but we want to build up that infrastructure. And of course, supporting our regional programming. Black alumni are all over the world, but we want to make sure we can do that. And then third premise is preserving our history. So as you know, the History Project, it must be funded. If we're going to tell our stories and collect these artifacts, that's really what we're trying to support. And then finally, ensuring our independence. As an organization that is independent and is a nonprofit, we want to make sure that this infrastructure is sustainable. So the e-board changes every 3 years. So that's a lot of turnover that happens. And I think a lot of folks in our membership, sometimes, we think, oh, they got it. No, this is a collective effort. So everyone has to get involved in maintaining and supporting this organization. So my goal, $1.5 million by June 2027. We can do it. We have over, I think it's like 13,000 Black alumni and alumni from all over, not just Black alumni. Everybody can support this. The goal is $1.5 million, an endowment that we can then reinvest into those pillars, into this organization, into the future of Black Cornellians here and near and those that are coming, to make sure that they have a place once they graduate. They have a community. They have something to hold on to and that will hold them. And that is what CBA is. It's something that catches you, but it takes work. It takes money to do it. And so we're looking for folks to donate their time, their talents, and the funds. So, in April, pull out that checkbook. That's what I'm looking for. We got to fund the movement. We're going to make it happen, but we got to fund the movement. In fact, I'm actually looking for 25 folks before April to come in at $10,000 each. So if we can get that, come on in, join the crowd. But if you can't give at that level, come in at anything. If you can give $100, $25, $1,000, whatever it is, this will fund what we are doing and what we continue to do for our community. So that's the Legacy Fund. We built this, we fund this, we run this. All right? Legacy Fund.
Yeah. Thank you. No, thank you for sharing that. And I really want people to hear me when I say this. Again, when that last pillar about ensuring our independence, right? We have great relationship with the university. Okay, we do. And we've worked with the university since the beginning, right? But there are just some things that we have to do on our own.
Correct.
To get the results that we want to get. And to do the, especially in this environment, and take it from somebody who does this work on a regular basis at an institution, okay? There are things that we have to make sure are in our hands to do. And so Shannon and the board have taken this up as a big project. And literally the board, our group, our committee, all of us, we're doing this independent of. Again, yes, connections with the institution. You mentioned working with the library. I know we have some folks in alumni affairs that will be there on the weekend with us to help us out in some little things. But we are literally doing this independently. And so when you all consider what that means, especially for those of you who have volunteered with Cornell and done things with Cornell in the past, that's a big lift. That is a big lift. So please, please, please make sure that you take the time to read up at this website, read more about the Legacy Fund. Consider giving. And if it's not now, again, we got 17 months. Okay. We're going to do this together.
We got time. We got time. Well, this is good, John. This was fun. I feel like we already have these conversations every week, multiple
We do.
times. We just invite
Literally.
everybody else into the chat with us this
Right,
evening.
right.
And so I really want to thank you, John, for joining me on this CBA live chat this Monday evening. Typically we be having our meetings right now, but we took out some time to talk to the people.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
continue to support CBA. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, CBA50.org. Get it quick. Early bird sales end on February 15th. And if
The
you don't get
15th,
it,
yes.
you got to get it afterwards. So thank you for joining us, John. Thank you so much,
Of
everybody.
course.
Support CBA. Follow us on social media. And if you want to also get a table with your friend, get your crew together, buy a table. That'll make it a little bit easier for you. All right. And have a
Yes.
wonderful week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay Black, stay blessed, and stay with CBA. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Good night, y'all. We'll see you in a few. We'll see you in a few months.